All right, for 4.3, we're going to do a little more graphing of parabolas. This time we're going to introduce a different form for your quadratic, which is going to be intercept form or factored form. So, I'm going to start the approach of this one a little different than you did in 4.2. So, use factoring to graph the parabola, show all the coordinates of the vertex and all the intercepts. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is y-intercept. So y-intercept is, again, remember, if you plug in 0 for the x's, it'll be that'll be your y-intercept. So we're going to have a y-intercept here at 8. Oops, that's 9, sorry. Then I'm also going to find the x-intercepts. So if I do 0 is equal to negative x squared minus 2x plus 8, I'm going to take this and factor this. So I'm going to factor out a negative. Then factor that. I'm going to do y is equal to on that. So this would be my intercept form of this equation here. So I would have an intercept at negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and an intercept at 2. Okay? So then the only thing I'm going to do is find the vertex, and then I can draw my parabola from there. A couple of things with this. Now, if these two are my x-intercepts, the vertex has to be straight up or below, above or below, halfway in between. So I'm going to have an axis of symmetry right here, like so. So I know that I'm going to have the x-coordinate of my vertex is going to be at negative 1. I would just need to find the y-coordinate. And there's various ways to do that. So I'm going to show you here on the next page. All right, so there's my vertex form. Then, to find a vertex, back from earlier, you can do the vertex from standard form by doing the opposite of b over 2a, and then taking whatever value you get, x value you get there, and plugging that back into the equation to get your y value. So f of that value is what that would be. So I did that. Now we already saw that that was going to be negative 1 when I showed it there on the previous page. And if I take negative 1 and plug it into the equation, I would get 9. So I would then have a vertex at negative 1, 9. My y-intercept right there. If I had my axis of symmetry, I would also have a point right there, and then my 2 x-intercepts. So we now have a third form for our quadratic equation. So we have our standard form that we've been dealing with for a while, ax squared plus bx plus c. We did the vertex form the last 2 days, where h and k would be your vertex. And now we have intercept form, which looks like the factored form that we were doing when we were solving equations from previous chapter. Notice that each one of these has an a, and all of those a's would be the same. So if you had 5x squared plus stuff after it, intercept form would be 5 times that, vertex form would be 5 times that. That number will be the same for each one. All right, so let's go through a couple of different kind of things that you can come through, you can find. Find the equation of the parabola that has those as their intercepts. Okay, so this, I am given the 2x intercepts, so therefore I'm going to use intercept form. And that's going to be the big thing moving forward is, which form should you use? If I give you a vertex, you should use vertex form. If I give you intercepts, you should use intercept form. If you're given pieces, not the whole entire, what if you only have one intercept? What do you do? So in this one, because I have both x-intercepts there, I would use this form, plug those in as my 2 intercepts, so x then plus 2 and x minus 5. And now whether I have the y-intercept or whether I have the vertex or whether I have another point that's on the graph, it's going to be solved the same way. I'm going to take this point, plug in this number for x, plug this number in for y, and solve for a. So you'll have that. Combine those together, divide both sides by, in this case, negative 10. You get a is equal to 2. And so in factored form, that's what you would have. The big thing is what it tells you to answer in. And that'll be a pretty big part of the test for Chapter 4 is answering the questions in the form that it's asking for or doing it in the particular way it asks you to do. So this one does say standard form. So that would mean I would need to multiply these out and then multiply by 2. When you do that, you'll get 2x squared minus 6x minus 2 is equal to y for your equation. All right, similar type of thing on this one now. So this one I've got 3, 0, and I got a vertex at -1, -32. Me personally, anytime I'm given the vertex, I'm going to use vertex form. And I would solve using vertex form, which I'm going to show that on one of the parts of this answer. However, you could, if you wanted to, use the fact of, well, if you have a vertex here and you've got an x-intercept here, the vertex, you're going to have the line of symmetry that goes through it. And so that would mean on the opposite side of that would be another x-intercept. So if you had x is equal to 1 as your axis of symmetry, 3 would be 4 spots to the right of that. So that means you'd have another x-intercept 4 spots to the left of that. So you'd have another one at -5, 0. And you could then do intercept form. So it would be up to you. I would say pause this video for 2 minutes, figure out which way you would think would be the best way to do it, and then do it. And I'm just going to pop up the answer here in a second. All right, so I'm assuming you've unpaused and or tried it. So if you do your intercept form, 3, 0, -5, 0 would be another x-intercept there. Put it in intercept form, plug the vertex in for x and y, which you could have done here at this line right here instead of multiplying it out if you wanted to. In any case, you'll get a is equal to 2. Plug that into here, multiply out, and you got your answer. Or use the vertex form instead. So this one, plug this in for h, plug this in for k, plug this in for x, plug this in for y. A would be the thing you'd need to solve for. You're going to get 2 when you do that. Replace that with the 2, multiply it all out, and you see that you get the same answer. All right, so that is section 4.3.